Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. My name is Vinnie and I'm joined with today's guests, Lucas and Ginter. They are selling their info product business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show, Lucas and Ginter. How are both of you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine too. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely my pleasure. It's wonderful to have both of you on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to talking about your business today because it's an info product one and there's lots of interesting details I can't wait for you to share with our listeners. Just before we get stuck into the details, let me go over a brief recap and summary of your business. So for our listeners out there, we have an info product business in the business and lifestyle niches, and it was created in February 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $19,436, and it makes an average of $12,144 per month in net profit. The assets that are included in the site are a primary domain and all the site's contents and files, 3 additional domains, one of which is parked, 3 online courses which are all hosted on Teachable, an affiliate partnership, as well as a partnership with a Fox News vendor, employee contracts and relationships, 2 email lists, one with 6,000 subscribers that's stored on ActiveCampaign and another one with 3,600 subscribers stored on MailChimp, a variety of social media accounts, and contractual rights when using a psychotherapist's name on marketing materials related to one of the courses. You can head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 50247 to learn more about the business. And if you want to start your due diligence, just remember to unlock the listing first. Alright guys, I've given a very general overview about the business, but let's find out a bit more about the pair of you. Can you tell me about your background in building or running online businesses? Is this your first venture into the space, or is this just one of many projects that you've explored?
So we ventured into online business space 6-7 years ago. We're still at uni back at the day. And, at the time we didn't know anything. And our first take on it was to just build apps, and actually not just any apps, but iOS games, and then monetize them with various advertising options. That didn't really work out for us. So the second one we have tried was an infographic design agency. We had an outsourced talent team who would make those infographics, essentially comprised of copywriters and of graphic designers, and a project manager, of course. And yeah, we would cold email to various corporations. Some of them would say, hey, yes, we need infographics. They would wire us the money. We would make the infographic and we would take the profit. And that was the first one that really worked for us. But Ginter on the side was really interested in social media aspect. And at some point started growing this Instagram account, which by now has 2 million followers.
More than 2 million, yeah.
More than 2 million, yeah, almost 2.1. And outstanding engagement rate, highest in the industry. And in February 2018, we decided to monetize that audience. And that's how we got into the info product space, because we tried a few different ideas, starting from physical products, also trying to venture into service-based products. But at the end, the info product, with its high profit margins and plenty of advertising opportunities and actual ability to create value for people, really has proven to be the most effective way to monetize the audience. So we elaborated on that concept, and it is what it is today.
Yeah, thanks guys. That's a really good breakdown of how you came up with the idea to start an info product business. Can you share with our listeners, why did you choose these niches in particular, for business and lifestyle?
I think it had a lot to do with the nature of our audience. Generically speaking, the audience we attract is ambitious entrepreneurial women. And we tried a few different concepts, and the one which resonated best after a bunch of testing was these niches. So we ventured into them. It was really a database decision.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, because I guess, like you were saying, as you were building the social media side of stuff, you also found that it really resonated with a certain demographic, and I guess that sort of helped you, direct where you're going to take your next business venture, which is what it is today. Can either of you share with me, how does the business primarily make money?
So right now, 100% of sales is through online courses. And we sell online courses in two payment options. It's either a single payment of full price upfront, or there is a payment in installments pricing option, which breaks the payment down into three parts. And the sum of those parts is slightly higher than one-time payment option. During these payment installments, some people would argue that this is a subscription revenue. I'm not sure if that is the case, but a certain percentage of our sales comes from these recurring revenue sources, and higher percentage comes from one-time payments. But at the end of the day, it's all online course sales.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. You were sharing, Lucas, about, how you went through a few different project ideas and you tried to get a few things off the ground and you didn't quite have some success, but this one stuck and you managed to grow it. Can you share with some of our listeners who are interested in getting into online businesses why you think info product as a business model is great to get started with?
It's a bit of a tricky question. If you do it a traditional way, it's not necessarily a great business model. I'm sure people saw plenty of these very douchey ads where a guy is standing in front of a Lamborghini and advertising some online course that will help them to make $2 million in 2 days. This is not a great business model because A, it's a scam, which it calls for a legal trouble at worst, or, a complete ruin of reputation at worst, at best. And second of all, it's very short-lived, so it's hard to make money out of it. Like, you may have a burst of incoming cash, but it's not going to last. And there is a lot of competition in that space. So our approach was different, and that's why I think that the approach we have with online courses is actually a rather easy business to get into, as long as you have an audience. We didn't assign a name to any of our courses. Our courses are built with respect to our brand. In other course, it's not the personal brand attributed to a certain knowledge that is shared, but it's our brand as a social media account which is attributed to these courses. And that essentially allows us to produce courses cheaper because we are more free to choose what kind of format we want. At some point when we began, we were just selling PDFs. Now those courses have videos, but we didn't necessarily have to film ourselves or some expert, because the courses come from a brand, so we were more choose to make voiceover artist plus slides, presentations, then accompany that with some workbooks, PDFs, and that helped us to not just be more free in our content, but also to save money on the production of that content. Because there is no specific personal brand attached to a certain course, we are also able to talk to different people and make a course which is comprised of opinions and expertise of various different people. Again, this is a rather unique opportunity given what people normally do with info products. Again, your question is a bit tricky. If you're just going this info product route traditionally, it is a hard business to get into for the reasons I mentioned before. But if you're doing the way we did it, you're really free to make any course you want in any format you want. And then once you make it, there are no costs associated with running that business. Of course, you have to pay for hosting and stuff, but this is overhead. It's not significant. Like every time you make an online course sale, all of the profits, all of the revenue is essentially your profit. And that's really nice.
The thing was that we have built those courses on our own knowledge and experience and topics that we really like. And we prepare the information that work for us. And that's how we have created our first online courses. So I think that's really important that you really know what you're selling and you believe in your product. And you know that it's not a scam, because as Luke mentioned, there's a lot of online courses that are really scammy. So that's really important to create an info product that that would work for other people too.
Yeah, I appreciate the honest answers there, and I think those are really good answers as well, because it might not necessarily be a great business model for someone just starting with online businesses for all the reasons that you've mentioned, because I totally understand what you're saying about all the scammy retargeted ads for the fake gurus and stuff like that. Yeah, it can be very distracting. It makes it seem like it's very easy when obviously the reality is very different. Yeah, you made a lot of good points there, a lot to unpack that I'm hoping that we can touch on and explore a bit more throughout the rest of the interview. So I just want to ask, really, because obviously when you look at the revenue and the traffic, the business has obviously experienced really strong growth, year-on-year growth, and since it was created. But our listeners will be wondering why you're selling the business right now instead of staying with it to grow it.
So I guess this has to be answered by both of us, both partners separately. So I will start. On my end, I work in technology and I have a side project in that space. If someone is interested, I'm using artificial intelligence to classify certain psychological states of human subjects. And I recently received investment from European Union to pursue that further. And I just want to dedicate all my time to that. I just want to explore that opportunity.
Yeah, and for me, I just want to explore myself in other niches and businesses. I'm not sure exactly where, but I believe that this business that we have with Look has a really, I don't think that at the moment we have the skills to grow this business to its real potential. And we both want to explore ourselves in other businesses, in other projects.
That's a very good point, because as we mentioned, we have this massive audience that we can tap into anytime. And there are so many ways to monetize the traffic, from starting from affiliate to display advertising to writing a blog to making more online courses to launching new products, physical or all digital. The thing is, we don't necessarily have skill set in many of those arenas. Mm-hmm. And given that I specifically really have another project to which I have to dedicate a lot of my time, I don't have time to acquire those skills as well. We decided it's best to sell it.
Yeah, I completely understand. It's a very common base reason that you guys have mentioned. Basically, it sounds like you both have different things that you want to pursue. First and foremost, obviously, Lucas, you were saying about your technology project, which sounds really fascinating. And obviously, Ginter, you were saying you just want to try and explore other businesses in maybe similar or even different niches to try and see what else you can build. And it's a really good point, actually, that the pair of you make about maybe you've taken this business as far as you can go in terms of your skill set, that even if you did stay with it, if you did want to grow it, you probably need to outsource to specialists in order to get it to grow even further. So it sounds like in the right hands, it could be a really good opportunity. So I just want to ask both of you, as you were building and scaling this business, was there anything that you would apply to future sites or businesses? What really worked for you as you were growing it?
The number one lesson I learned is it takes time to build an audience, any kind of audience. In this case, we build an Instagram audience, but it takes time, but it's not complicated or complex to do so. And once you have that audience, it's just so easy to monetize it.
Yeah.
You can literally ask people what they want and then build the product they want and sell it. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Were there any software or tools that really helped you when you first started building this business?
Initially, we had WordPress site. And we had a content management system, which I coded myself. But then we did a rebranding. Essentially, I did not feel comfortable implementing the designer's vision on WordPress, so we moved to Webflow. And even though at first it was a bit different than WordPress, because WordPress was such a centralized system, when I had it in combination with Teachable, those two pieces of software worked magically. But then when it comes to one piece of software that absolutely made this business a wonderful thing to run was Zapier, because I was able to automate so many things that, as we also noted on our listing, we spent maybe 5 hours per week on it.
Yeah, Zapier is a really interesting tool. Like you say, it gives you so much more flexibility to automate a lot of stuff between, at the face of it, separate tools, but then you can combine those workflows together. So, it's really good that you managed to get it to work together. On the other hand, what did you try that didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
This is probably something which, again, due to the lack of our skill set, but we did try to venture into paid advertising. So a bit of a context. Right now, most of the revenue is coming from organic traffic, organic traffic coming from social media. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we did try to monetize our website with paid traffic. And even though we did see bursts of profitability, we still were not able to scale those Facebook ads or paid advertising in general. Obviously, if we spend more time on it, at some point it would become a significant source of profits. But at this point, I would say we're still failing at it. Of course, there are courses that we wanted to launch, and usually the strategy is to make a landing page which presents the course as if it exists, but then ask people to pre-register. and we measure the conversion rates on that. So we had a course or two that's flopped and did not show a significant interest. I'm not sure if it's a failure. It was more like a test to test the market.
I suppose that's what marketing is, right? It's just a constant stream of testing to see what works and what generates the best responses from your target audience. Sometimes some things generate a lot of interest, and on the other hand, other approaches just fall flat and don't really give you the traffic you were hoping for. But let me explore that a bit more. You're mentioning that majority of the traffic comes from social. Can you describe a bit more about the marketing side? You were saying it was Instagram, wasn't it? Why is that so successful? Can you talk a bit about the marketing side there?
I think because our whole audience is on social, so we have an opportunity to talk with them directly here and show our products. Because, with paid advertising, you need to set those ads properly and know some technical stuff. And it's really easy to promote on Instagram. You just make a post, your audience, how to talk with them, and just create, what visuals they like. And that's how you create a promotional post. You see the comments and you just create for everything the way you just know what will work and what won't work. Actually, we have this audience, I think, for 4 years, and we have the experience here with the ads, and that's how we are creating them at the moment.
Yeah, sure, that does make sense. Can you describe to me, what do you currently do in terms of marketing then, on a day-to-day basis then?
We promote our informational product 4 times per month, so we don't do any other marketing during the month. We just create a regular feed post. We post it 1 time a week, where we invite our followers to click on the link in the bio, where they can explore our product, and then they just buy it.
Gotcha. Let's just open that up a bit more then, because you do have a team that helps you with the majority of the operations, right? I mean, either of you describe to me what they do to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an illustrator, we have a copywriter, we have a performance marketing specialist on our team, and community manager. We used to have a community manager, but she's no longer with the business since December. Essentially, the illustrator helps us to prepare the posts. The copywriter and the performance marketing people are trying currently to figure out how to make Facebook ads work. But when it comes to the activities that actually generate profit, they're not doing much. And the rest of the stuff is automated, as I mentioned, with Zapier. There is some work on my end, which I do manually. Essentially, when we are doing these promotional posts on Instagram, they usually run for 24 hours. And as Ginta mentioned, that happens 4 times a month, so 1 time a week. During this period, because it's a 24-hour window, it's a source of scarcity, which we want to advertise on our landing page, because that increases the conversion rates we find. So once a week, I just manually switch the clock on our website for it to expire 24 hours since the moment we launch the Instagram post. That would be it.
Gotcha. Okay. So besides that, I think you've alluded to the fact that you in terms of the marketing side of things, there's obviously a lot of engagement that's needed to respond to comments and posting and stuff. But besides that, what is the other type of work that you need to do on the business for maintenance?
Not much. There is a support email that receives 1 or let's say up to 5 support requests per week, something like that. And usually those are quite standardized. So we have templates which we respond. That's every day I would check the support file myself. And, if there is something I would respond. It usually takes 15 minutes. And then once a week, we also try to share a free resource with our audience. That is usually some kind of a planner. Whether it's a planner for January or self-care planner, our audience seems to like it, and these are normally made by Ginta.
Something printable.
Yes. And, people tend to really like those. They print it, they take pictures, they tag us, and that helps us to grow our audience even more organically.
And that's how we grow our email list.
Yes. Also, I put that free resource on our website and make sure that, people who enter email get that resource. That would be it. As I said, in total, it's 5 hours. Very simple.
Cool. Okay. So it sounds like the business is, besides those tasks, more or less runs quite hands-off.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you alluded to it earlier, Lucas. You were saying that There's definitely room to grow for the business in terms of maybe affiliate marketing and other things. Can you describe, if you did stay with the business, what are some of the ways that you would explore and try to grow it?
Well, obviously, since now we're launching our courses only 24 hours per month because we have numerous courses, so it's more or less that each course opens one time a month and then people can join it. If we want to be successful in Facebook advertising or paid advertising in general, we would need to figure out how to make it work with an always-on campaign so that people can join the course whenever they want. So this would be the number one area where I would focus at the beginning, simply to have the courses available 24/7 and running ads to those profitably. But if it comes to expansion to other products, I would make new online courses after rigorously testing them before making those courses, whether they will actually sell, and then, of course, make a new product as well. I'm a big believer in a subscription revenue model, and we would probably end up making something in a low price point range that would provide people with some kind of resource or community, and that would give us subscription revenue. And then when it comes to affiliates, unfortunately, I don't have much experience there, but I understand that the basic concept is that you have a blog where you advertise products made by other people, and if people who read your blog buy those products, you get a percentage of those cuts. Currently, our blog is completely underutilized, and again, it's a medium effort task to make it work successfully. So once we figure out how to make Facebook ads work and maybe launch a new product that works, I would also venture into affiliate partnerships and place not necessarily just in the blog, but also maybe in our online courses, various products that could help our audience and clients. And also, given the breadth of our audience, if we need cash, like cash injection into business quickly, we can always do a promotion on our Instagram. We receive a lot of inquiries about whether people can send us some creative that we promote on our Instagram and they pay us for that. And normally we say no. But if there is a need for quick cash injection, given the breadth of our audience, it's normally the price point which people are willing to pay is rather high, and it's quite easy to generate some revenue this way. So to conclude, it would be expansion of our current offerings by distributing over different sales channels and then making new products in a subscription space, and then finally venturing into affiliate and paid advertising opportunities.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense for sure. But all businesses have inherent risks, right? So what would you say some of the risks with this info product business that a buyer should be aware of?
There's always an opportunity for someone to copy, and that definitely could potentially steal a certain percentage of our market size. Fortunately, we are somewhat covered for that because our audience is really, really big. So even if some smaller account takes a certain percentage, we still have more authority, and we have an entire wall of testimonials that we can defend our courses with.
And our followers really love our brand, actually.
Yeah, but that's definitely one of the risks. And then let's say we make Facebook ads work, right? So there is an inherent risk that's given what's now going on with Facebook and like this Facebook versus Apple thing where they want to limit how much Facebook ads can be targeting people. Obviously, that sales channel might become unprofitable again. So that's definitely a risk I see.
Yeah, I think those are really fair points. The info products always, unfortunately, they run the risk of people trying to make copycat brands, copycat courses and stuff like that. So that is definitely worth bearing in mind. But, again, so you were saying that I think one of the strengths of this brand is that you've built up a really loyal audience through your socials, which is great. Just the last few wrap-up questions for the pair of you. How much support are you offering buyers?
Anything they need. It's not that they're buying shoes from us. They're buying a business that we want them to succeed on, and we want to see this business, grow even after it leaves our hands. So if they need 6 months of support, we give them 6 months of support. At these price points, a certain level of involvement from the seller is definitely expected, and we're more than happy to comply.
Great. That's really good to hear. Are you willing to commit to a non-compete?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Fantastic. And are you open to seller financing, like negotiating something like an earn-out?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We definitely want to make a compromise that is best for us and for the buyer. And as long as we can discuss openly and find a middle ground, we're open to any kind of structure.
That's great to hear. Last question from me, really. If you put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why would you say that this is a business that's worth buying?
It's very stably profitably, and it's vastly under optimized at this point. As I mentioned multiple times, we are not skilled enough to really take it to where it can be, but every time we just think about opportunities or even try to execute on them, we see how much more profitable it can be. For example, in December, we were approached by Fox News and they paid us $6,000 just to make 4 posts on Instagram. And this is something which we could scale. We could make a presentation, we could make a section on our website advertising that we can do these paid promotions. Here is our rate. Please get in touch with these people just to optimize the process brand, and it could become a stable source of revenue looking into the future.
Because at the moment, actually, we spend only about 5 hours per week on this business.
And essentially, we have this massive traffic, 2 million people following us that we can take and sell whatever we want. That's a massive opportunity.
That's great to hear. I mean, is there anything that either of you would like to share that you think I might have missed?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. We covered a lot of ground. And yeah, thank you so much, Lucas and Ginter, for joining me in today's interview. I hope that your business gets picked up very soon by the right buyer.
Yes. Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 50247. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And then once you've unlocked it, you'll be given everything you need to know about the business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.